Welcome into the NESN Digital Studios. Courtney Cox here with Marcus Omard and the U.S. men's soccer team. Sad day today. They fell yesterday to Trinidad and Tobago, so they're not going to the World Cup. Marcus already has a frown on his face. Very melancholy in here. Marcus is our resident soccer superfan fanatic. So you're pretty sad about this. We're going to treat this kind of like a therapy session. How are you feeling today, tomorrow, yesterday?
Courtney, well, we're certainly dressed the part. We're both wearing black, and yeah, I feel like I'm, going to a funeral, like I lost somebody or something very close. It's just, melancholy, despair. At first, it was a bit of anger, but the rage gave way to just this feeling of, I can't believe this happened. It's a tragedy. It's the worst case scenario came to pass. I wrote about what the United States needed to do to qualify for the World Cup. It was very simple, about 150 words, just win or draw. If you can't do that, don't worry, the other teams will work things out and the U.S. should get through. Everything went wrong last night in a span of about 30 minutes, where it went from being in the World Cup to, well, I guess we're going to have to go through the November playoffs. And then right with about 5 minutes left in the U.S. game, Panama scores the winning goal and it's out. So, yeah, it's tragic, at least for soccer fans in this country.
So speaking of soccer fans as a whole, the U.S. soccer community, how do you think they're feeling about this? Obviously, I mean, you look at Twitter, you look at social media, and you can't get through your timeline or your news feed without seeing people kind of distraught over this. I mean, everybody thought that this was kind of a shoo-in.
I made it a point last night to get off of soccer Twitter, after a few minutes after the game, because there's a lot of hand-wringing, soul-searching, a lot of people calling for heads with the manager, Bruce Arena, and the president of U.S. Soccer Federation, Sunil Gulati. All of them are taking a whole brunt of criticism, and deservedly so. This was a catastrophic failure, not only in terms of the team, but in terms of the whole system that's built to support the team.
All right, now let's talk wider world.
Sure.
What's your reaction there?
Well, from what I've seen so far, we're getting laughed at. We in the United States. There's some great soccer memes going around. You know, the one where the guy is kind of doing this, and the one I just saw was, you can't lose in the World Cup if you don't qualify for it. So there are some good ones. They're poking a lot of fun at the U.S. and amongst wider sports fans. It's weird because soccer fans know the U.S. is improving, or at least we always thought they were, but wider casual sports fans in the U.S. still look down on the U.S. soccer team and say, they're no good, not worth following. So I think those folks, people that have those opinions, really came out in droves, and they're still out saying, I told you so.
Well, I think when a team loses, everybody kind of jumps to conclusions right there. We all need to panic. But when you look at the future of U.S. men's soccer, what do you feel in your heart about that? And there's so much. You bring up Bruce Arena. Everyone's talking about him. They want his head, basically. Do you think that people should be jumping down his throat? Is he the main target?
Well, no, there's plenty of blame to spread around. And I'll tell you tomorrow on the NESN Soccer Show why even I am to blame for this. I tempted the soccer gods. That's a little teaser preview. No, I mean, in terms of the future, for 30 years, the United States has qualified for the World Cup each time, seven consecutive qualifications, and it was one of the longest in the world, up there with the Brazils and the Frances and the big countries. And we always thought there was this relentless march forward that will end with the United States winning the World Cup at some point, maybe not in 2018, but 2022, 2026. We can stop thinking like that now. I think my last tweet yesterday was, it's time to challenge every accepted truth about soccer in this country and, really deal with it that way instead of just the rah-rah, grow the game, selling the sport to a wider audience.
All right, well, there you have it. I hope that this therapy session did you a little bit of good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always happy when we get to chat.
Yeah.
All right, well, you can follow along with Marcus on Twitter at MKOmard or myself at Cox Courtney, but keep it locked in right here at NESN.com. We've got everything you need for your soccer needs. Marcus is our guy here, and he will make sure to handle everything. with the World Cup, even though the U.S. is not going to be present. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because this is getting too sad now. Thanks for tuning in.